Hello everyone, Jonah Vale here. I wanted to take a quick moment to preface this video. New World was an MMORPG I was anticipating for a long time and holding a lot of hope out for. I was looking for a new sandbox MMORPG to call my own. The following is my raw, uncut reaction to their latest post about their game direction shift. I apologize for the harshness, but this one cut me deep. At the end of the video, since I've collected myself, I'll recap my thoughts in a more appropriate manner. Thank you for watching. PvP. Last month, we premiered our Eternum Awaits cinematic trailer at the Game Awards, announced our May 2020 launch date, and opened up pre-orders. This was an exciting moment for us and kicked off our road to launch. The trailer led to a lot of new eyes on our game and also opened up questions about how New World has evolved in recent months. To bring everyone up to speed, back in October of 2018, we began a closed alpha that ended in June 2019. Our goal was to collect player feedback and gameplay data on a variety of features. Throughout the alpha, we captured direct and anecdotal feedback from chat, our official forums, post-gameplay surveys, and playtesting. We collected a ton of invaluable information that has informed our planning as we went dark and continued development. We used this feedback to find common pain points in the game. It was clear that there were concerns in the community about the impact of PvP, player versus player, on the overall gameplay experience. While PvP did change over the course of alpha, generally it was full loot and open world with only outposts acting as sanctuaries. Everyone was vulnerable to attack at any time from other players in the rest of the world. In order to attack, players would flag criminal intent. If you died as a criminal, you would experience full gear and inventory loss. If you died to a criminal, you would lose all of your inventory but keep your equipped gear with durability damage taken. Oh god, I can already tell I don't like where this is going, guys. One of the problems we observed with this system was that some high-level players were killing low-level players. A lot. Sometimes exclusively. This often led to solo or group griefing scenarios that created a toxic environment for many players. To be clear, this behavior was not shown by all PvP players, but enough to cause significant issues. We set out to build a compelling world full of danger and opportunity that begs to be explored. The intended design was never to allow a small group of players to bully other players. Based on what we saw, we realized that we needed to make fundamental changes and not just incremental fixes. God damn it. Which we tried several times during the closed alpha. There's been speculation that we have moved away from PvP. This isn't the case at all. PvP is important to us and we're committed to ensuring it plays a significant role in our game. To be specific, by PvP we mean fair fights that are organized, skill-based, and opted into by all participants. Oh no, dude, they did it, bro. They fucking did it, dude. Oh my god, they fucking did it, dude. I can't believe them, dude. Oh, they did it. Oh, they fucking did it, guys. Oh, money wins, dude. Money fucking wins, bro. Oh man, that hits me right in the fucking loins, dude. Not PKing, which is a predatory behavior that relies on exploiting another player's lack of experience, progress, readiness, or willingness. So for those folks who desire that harsh PvP environment, New World may not be your favorite game. However, we do hope you enjoy the PvP we will offer. We are unlikely to provide PvP-only servers as it would divide our development resources and community. They won't even give a fucking PvP server? Oh my god, dude. We could investigate this again at a later date, but it's not something we are going to support at launch. We believe that the changes and improvements we made to the game since closed alpha are far more compelling for the majority of players. In the current design, players in New World experience PvP by opting into faction conflicts and wars for territory ownership. Opting into these PvP experiences will be extremely rewarding, often granting you exclusive in-game bonuses and rewards for your effort. I mean, I'm still gonna play it, guys. Jesus Christ, this is so sad. This is just people whining and complaining. Enough people whined and complained that the devs have taken what made their game unique, ripped it out, right? They've ripped out the uniqueness. It's going to become some cookie cutter bullshit game, right? The PvE, I guess, was extremely barren in alpha. So these PvE players that are that cried for this change are probably gonna quit within a month, right? Like unless they did drastic PvE improvements. I heard the PvE was really bad, right? So they're catering to a group that's probably gonna quit the game very quickly. I mean, we'll see. Time will tell. But that's rough, dude. They won't, like, not even a PvP server? Why not? How tough is that for development? During alpha, it was made clear that PvP was one of the most popular features in New World. This is so contradictory. This is so contradictory, bro. It's the most popular feature and you gutted it. We've taken that to heart and doubled down on it, incorporating a lot of the feedback requests and blue sky wishes of our testers into the latest version. At a high level, war will be 50 versus 50 PvP battles by appointment. Companies will declare war on territories they wish to take over, draft a roster of 50 combatants, and agree on a timing for the battle. The war will take place on a protected battlefield, keeping anyone who isn't confirmed to participate out. This help ensures a fair fight without distraction. During the battle, there are two sides, attackers and defenders. Defenders will protect their claim flag, which sits in the center of the fort. The fort is equipped with storage, crafting stations, and upgradable wall defenses. The attackers will earn points during the battle to upgrade and build siege weapons and towers. The war ends if the attackers are able to break through the gates and claim the flag, or if the time expires. During the course of the battle, both sides can earn points to spend on upgrades and gear. Players who have homes in a territory at war will not lose any of their possessions based on the outcome of the battle. If you choose to sit out a war, you won't be penalized for your non-participation, but you also won't be rewarded should your side win the war. Players on the winning side of the war will reap rewards for their efforts. We are excited to reveal more about forts and siege warfare in future dev diaries and articles. We have also invested deeply in PvE, creating many new features that pit players against challenging enemies, placing them in perilous situations, and introduce new enemy types. This includes corrupted breaches, world events where the ground opens up and erupt with corrupted energy, and enemies. Additionally, territory owners will need to protect their forts and withstand an onslaught as waves of enemies attempt to bash their gates down and wipe out their company. We believe all players will enjoy the directed content in PvE we've added. We will do a deep dive into all of New World's core features between now and April, including more on PvE and PvP. We appreciate your continued support and interest in New World. Hopefully this answers some questions. We will continue to have an open dialogue with you about everything as New World has to offer as we approach closed beta in April. Keep an eye on our social channels for our latest interaction or information on New World. See you in Eternum. Oh man, dude.
We've been getting a lot of great questions across social media, Reddit, the forums, about how New World has evolved over the past several months. We had our big announcement at the Game Awards, and people have been asking us a lot of questions on how PvE, PvP works. Can you tell us a little bit about how New World has brought more PvE elements into the game?
Let me start with the previous alpha. When we were live, we watched players play, we played with players, and we learned a whole bunch. One of the things that we noticed was players were engaging in PvP, but a lot more players wanted more PvE content. They wanted more things they could solo. They wanted the ability to be directed through the world. They wanted more enemies. Our big focus has been around appeasing those players, putting more POIs in the game, increasing the density of POIs, increasing the complexity, putting more curation into the world. So as you're moving through the world
it's max, dude.
It ramps up.
It's max, dude.
You are, and along with that comes the loot that you get. We've added a lot more loot that gets better as you fight harder enemies. So all together, the game's going to feel a little more balanced between the PvP and PvE, probably leaning with a little bit more PvE focus.
So during the alpha, there was a heavy emphasis on the PvP side of the game. Players are concerned that some of that might be going away. What about PvP has changed in New World?
Initial vision was a full PvP session, but we were trying to come up with ways to make it so that experienced high-level players wouldn't just PK, cheap kill like new players, so they wouldn't go attack wounded players. And everything we tried just kind of felt like a band-aid and didn't really solve the problem.
Why didn't they just do newbie zones? like Albion does. Right? Why didn't they a tutorial island? Do you know what I mean? Why was that not
So what we're thinking about now is giving both players that experience so everyone can come to a tournament and have a good time. So we put an opt-in system. We've added factions to the game, so you'll join a faction. And when you hit a certain level, you're allowed to opt into PvP. Anyone who opts in can engage in open world PvP. This also leads to wars, which is where PvP was its most fun in the last alpha. And we've put a lot of work into making war more fun. We've added siege weapons, more defense. We've added more stages to the war. When you start to play this, you're going to see how this is how we really meant PvP to be.
Will it be possible to engage with New World and...
Here's the issue, right? Here's the issue, and this is what people don't understand. And the people that complained about opt-in, like the reason they went to opt-in PvP, right? Here's the problem, okay? Now, when they don't opt into PvP, right? They go out into the world to enjoy this new revamped PvE, right? There's no risk. There's no thought in the back of their head, I could get jumped right now. We got to be careful. There's no adrenaline. The entire excitement of that encounter has been reduced tenfold. Tenfold. Right? If there's no element of someone jumping you, something organic happening, it's completely devoid of adrenaline and excitement now. And that's what these people that complain about PvP don't understand. And if the game was truly a sandbox, right? Those people that were getting ganked by other guilds could have hired another guild of like mercenaries to defend them. Right? Or they could have found other people of like-minded styles to group up and farm together so they had security in numbers. It was an alpha. There wasn't a lot of people in it. There was not a lot of people in it. I'm turning off Stream Raiders right now. There was not a lot of people in it. So there wasn't enough of a population to really organically see how it could play out. I completely disagree with this.
Not touch PvP at all.
If you never want a PvP, you can absolutely avoid it. I believe that as players play through the PvE experience, they're going to eventually want to try it and get a taste for it when they get comfortable with the combat style and the gameplay. But it is absolutely a gameplay path that you can do it without ever playing in PvP.
So during the alpha, when players would come across another player, they would kill them, all your loot would drop. You would kind of go back to zero. What's the state of that in New World
So now for the open world opt-in PvP, the penalty is really time. The time it takes you to get back to where you were. We're not going to have you lose anything.
Oh, there's no loot for opt-in PvP? Oh, fuck, dude. Oh my god, bro. Holy shit. Wow. Dude, they left nothing. Nothing for... Holy fuck, dude. Wow. I thought they might do the opt-in PvP, but they just gutted it.
We found that players found that crushing to not only get beat up, but to drop everything.
Yeah, it's crushing. It motivates you to want to get out there and get back at those people. That's why we play these games, dude. We want to be crushed. That's the point. I want to get emotional in a game. I want to give a fuck about it. That's why I play games, dude. Yeah, it's crushing to lose your loot. That's why we play these games.
Was a bit much. So we've softened the blow on that. the player winning the war or winning the battle with another player will still get some rewards.
So there is
What rewards?
incentive to flag yourself as PvP. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we haven't fully refined the system yet, but we are going to give you bonuses for being flagged for PvP. So you might get a little more.
Like a good example of a game that kicks your ass is Darkest Dungeon, right? That game holds nothing back. And that's one of the best roguelikes I've ever played. Like I like Dark Souls. The fucking new Dark Souls, the one that got Game of the Year award. That, I guess it was like one of the most difficult games, right? Right? What was that game called? Sekiro? Super difficult game, frustrating as fuck. People loved it. Right? Because it was hard, it was challenging, it was rewarding, right?
Experience, you might get slightly better rewards when you're flagged. All of this stuff is totally attainable while you're playing PvE, but it adds more risk being flagged for PvP, so we want to make sure you have more reward.
So we talk a lot about large-scale PvP. Is it going to be more of a instance scenario, or is there going to be large-scale PvP in the open world?
I think both are going to be options. Our war, I wouldn't say it's instance, but it's 50v50, and no one else can enter the war. So once you're in this area, we shield everyone else out. In the open world PvP, groups can absolutely form, and that could also end up being large scale. It just depends how organized people get.
Is there still a criminal system in the game?
But if there's no incentive for people to fight each other, no one's going to organize to fight each other because there's no incentive, right? They said there's going to be some rewards for PvP, but if you've taken the passion and the soul out of the game, what a little bit of extra fame or a little bit of extra loot on it, like what am I getting for the PvP, dude?
There's still a criminal system in the game. In the original alpha, we had a criminal system that players could, they would get flagged as a criminal, and there are penalties to that. How does that work into the current version of PvP?
Because you're opt-in, we really know there's no need for the criminal system. Where everyone's getting attacked has made that decision to get there, so we've removed the criminal system completely.
Territory control is really important in New World. Does the way territory changes hands require PvP?
Absolutely. If you own a territory that I want, I have to get a group together, my company, and we're going to have to declare war on you. The winner of that war takes ownership of the territory. Other than at the very beginning, when all of the world, no one owns anything, it is impossible to get a territory without war.
So in New World, will there be PvE dungeons and raids and those types of things?
They're not going to be like you traditionally would expect, where you get teleported to one. There will be bosses in the world that require groups to work together to overcome, similar to like world bosses. We may end up growing down the path of adding dungeons and raids. We talk about it a lot. Our bigger goal is to get what we have in front of players and start to see what they want and where they push us and help us kind of take the direction.
During the alpha, we had a lot of issues with high-level players going down and killing new players who had no experience and no opportunities to explore what New World had to offer. What steps did we take to address that?
Well, the opt-in PvP system is a huge...
Why would you even ask that question? They took out all the PvP. Why even ask that question? You're wasting my fucking time, dude. They took out all the PvP. There you go, dude. Solved it. Next question. Thank you.
Step toward that. You have to be in a faction to opt into PvP, and you have to be level 10 to join a faction. So the earliest you could ever even contemplate PvP is level 10. And I think most players will want to wait just a little beyond that and get a little stronger foothold on how the combat and the gameplay works. There is no scenario where, as a new player, you wake up on the beach and have a spear get jammed in your throat. That won't happen.
One of the aspects...
What if I want to wake up on a beach and get a spear jammed in my throat, dude? What if that's what I want to fucking... What if that's what I need? Don't tell me how to live my life.
...of PvP and war is the idea of more of PvP by appointment. What are some of the bonuses to having that?
Well, a big one is you don't get the group that logs in at 2 in the morning and comes and attacks your stuff when you're not there, so you can actually be present to defend it.
So there was so many ways I feel like they could have addressed what their concerns are. Give a newbie area for people to get acclimated to the game, right? A newbie area, or tier the zones like Albion or Eve does, right? where it's safer so they can get used to the game. And then as they get to the more dangerous and more resource heavy and good loot locations, then it opens up to open world PvP where there's risk in the tough areas, risk versus reward. That's what games are built on, is risk versus reward. If you don't have proper risk versus reward, you don't drive the addiction of the game. If there's no risk, then there's no reward. You don't get emotionally attached. There'll be no emotional attachment for these people that just have no risk.
It also allows companies that own land to set appointment times around when they play, right? So, hey, we all get off work at 6, we're all home at 8 every night ready to play. We want to go to war around 8 or 9 o'clock. Someone else might work night shift, and they might want to find a group that has wars happen around 2 in the afternoon because that's more convenient for them. It allows more players to experience the feature around their schedule.
In closing, all of my initial reactions still hold true. Amazon had a chance here to make something unique, something the MMORPG genre direly misses, a hardcore sandbox game. And instead, from what we can only assume, a board of directors did a complete game concept shift. The game will now be a PvE husk with PvP as an afterthought. Luckily, the community is outraged, rightfully so. I hope they see the error of their ways, delay the game, and launch with their soul intact. Let's end this video with some YouTube comments. I like that ratio. That's what I'm talking about, dude. Let them know, dude. No, let them fucking know, bro. I wanted PvE content, but not at the expense of PvP. No shit, dude. No shit, dude. What the fuck? This is way worse than even the leak said. They said they might make PvP servers. They better do it on release, or I'm not going to be getting the game for full price if they add it later and I decide to get it. Truly a shame how the vision of so many people who started the project got tainted by some boring project manager unwilling to take risks. All this hype for combat for what? To kill some NPCs that is a pre-programmed to do the same thing? Everyone was excited about the game and what it was supposed to be, and you guys changed all of that. Kind of sad. I doubt that you guys even changed this because of feedback. Most likely because you want to imitate new MMOs. In before mass refunds from those who believed in your earlier vision, this is just another boring theme park now. After having experience in the alpha and played the game for hundreds of hours, and after I have helped in any way I can with countless suggestions, bug threads in the alpha forum, I can't express how disappointed I am after watching this video. This was my most anticipated MMORPG, and this video was like a slap in the face. PvP toggle, remove the criminal system. You can play the game without taking part at all in PvP. What the fuck is this shit? Are you fucking serious? Oh, dude, I like these guys. If you do all this shit, then it's like saying to all the people who helped in the alpha, boys, we rethink our plan and we decide you are not the player base we want for our game. So we're doing a last minute 180 because we want to try to appeal to more casuals than PvPers, hardcore players. In short, it's a big fuck off to all the people who took part in the alpha. What else left to say? That attitude is completely disgraceful. Another game that had so much potential to end up in the dumpster bin.
We have a pretty cool emote, fist bump.
And the